Ok, donc là vous êtes dans la partie café du village. C'est un lieu de vie qui a vocation à accueillir des événements, celui-ci.
So right here you are in the part which is the bar and restaurant of Digital Village, which is a place to host events and the people who work here.
Et pourquoi ça s'appelle Digital Village? Vous avez le premier étage qui est dédié à des indépendants dans le domaine du numérique, des indépendants experts qui travaillent tous dans le web.
So for the story, Digital Village is a company who hosts people, experts in digital works to work in co-working spaces.
Et donc, on a deux métiers. Un premier métier qui est très immobilier, on va en parler tout à l'heure, et un deuxième métier qui est un métier de production digitale.
So we have two big parts, which is the production of digital contents, and the other part, which will be
real estate.
Yeah, the real estate part of Digital Village.
Donc, le premier métier, le métier du coworking que vous connaissez, donc on regroupe les mêmes personnes qu'on appelle des villageois, bon, bonne chose pour en train de dire. Yeah. Et une deuxième partie qui est vraiment de la prod digitale, donc on fait des sites internet, des applications, du marketing digital, avec tous les experts qui sont situés au premier étage. Il y a également des résidences étudiantes tout là-haut qui ont vocation à accueillir des étudiants dans le web.
Yeah, so for the first part, as you know, co-working, easy. We have a lot of people that work in digital works who do like digital productions, like websites, applications, and stuff like that. And we also have a few other activities, which would be like hosting events.
So, no, I'm sorry. Just by the way, you just move in. Like, there's massive rooms over there. There's people back here.
Don't be shy.
And then people can be closer and lots of room.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, and so for the event part, we host like meeting into meeting rooms, and we also have another activity like student housing on the rooftop. And I guess that's it.
Alors pourquoi une conférence sur la crypto ici? Pourquoi vous êtes là? Alors déjà évidemment parce que c'est un petit lien quand même la crypto avec le web, comme on peut l'imaginer.
So you're probably asking why are you here with Digital Village for the crypto? Because there's a very big link between digital and crypto. And this is why we are here today in Digital Village.
Et alors donc on a le plaisir de vous annoncer que nous-mêmes nous lançons dans l'établissement de notre propre crypto, qui s'appelait le TV Coin, et qui est un modèle que je vais vous expliquer. C'est assez particulier.
Okay, and so we also have this digital village fact is that we are starting the Digital Village coin, which would be like the crypto coin of Digital Village.
How cool was that? Nice.
Donc je suis un freelance. I'm working on the co-working space upstairs.
Exactly. So imagine Bertrand is a freelance who is working in the co-working.
Je gagne de l'argent. J'ai effectué un site internet. Je suis graphiste et Ottilie est développeur.
Okay, so Bertrand is a graphist which is working in the co-working and has developed a website. And I am a developer. I am a developer.
All right, well, let's give a big shout out, right?
So
these guys for hosting us tonight.
I make $500 for the development, and you make $500 too.
Exactly.
Okay, so I want to use this money, et je vais pouvoir la convertir dans une monnaie qui va me permettre donc la DV Coin, qui va pouvoir me permettre d'acheter d'autres choses sur le village.
And the currency of the digital village coin will allow us to invest in the real estate of digital village by doing digital projects into digital village.
Donc avec ces 500 euros, je vais pouvoir payer mon coworking, je vais pouvoir payer des bières et je vais pouvoir investir dans l'immobilier.
So with these, this money that I had with the project, I will be able to pay for my rent in digital village or pay beers or every step like that, and even like invest into real estate of digital village.
Oui. Sur le mur, tout au fond là-bas, vous pouvez voir d'ailleurs que bientôt on pourra payer ses consos avec des DV Coins, donc on ne vous raconte pas des cracks.
Yeah, we are getting into the digital village coin, and you will be soon able to pay your beers and your drinks and your tea with the digital village coin.
Ok, mais ça c'est facile.
Yeah.
All right, rock and roll.
It's easy, but we have an expert.
Yeah.
I can introduce it.
Well, so
In 1 minute.
so the ethos of CryptoMondays, like when I started, by the way, we're decentralized, was I had no speakers at first, because most of the time when I'm at a meetup and somebody's yapping, I really wish they'd shut the fuck up, because the value, no, seriously, is the people in the room and the connections that go on and the serendipity that goes on is the real value. And obviously, we love you guys hosting. I'm happy to give you guys as much, but I keep the talking when it's my Crypto Mondays, and this is Josh's Crypto Monday. He's the one who organized, but to a half hour. But,
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So nice to meet you, Paul. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're delighted to
all right, rock and roll.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Down for hosting us, because that's awesome. That community. By the way, thanks, Josh, for organizing this. Seriously, he's going around the world doing this. Give him a big shout out. He's doing a lot of great work. And by the way, for those don't know me, I'm Luke Kerr. I'm the original founder of it, and actually, I go around. They're now. I started it in New York on January 2018, which was the market cap day. But before I'm just going to talk for a couple minutes, because again, it's about the meeting. I just want to know how many people here are going to NFT Paris tomorrow. Okay, great. So the majority of people, awesome. And how many people here, this is their first Crypto Mondays? Okay, so almost everybody. Okay, so the weird thing is, right, so Crypto Mondays, we started it in New York on January 2018, which was the peak market cap day for more than 2 years. Obviously, we didn't know at the time. We had 300 people at the first one, 350 people at the second one. We decided to blow it out around the world, but completely, totally decentralized. And Crypto Mondays Paris was started. It was literally the fourth or fifth days around the world. Today there are 71. That was started by Michael Amar, and Michael is now the guy who's doing Paris Blockchain Week and NFT Paris, right? And that's what you start at Crypto Mondays and you build the big community, and then you realize what community is. And we're actually here tonight. We're Caitlin Arzu, who runs Crypto Monday London's and totally crushes it. And the macro lesson, that I've learned in 5 years of running Crypto Mondays, and I have no doubt that Caitlin has learned, and that's the amazing thing about crypto, and that's that the more you give to the community, the more the community takes it, multiplies it, and gives it back. And so, Crypto Mondays, literally, I describe Crypto Monday when I talk about Crypto Mondays, and I've been to now 32 around the world, 14 outside the US, is that the best one in the world that I've been to, and I said this, is Crypto Mondays Paris. Because, Michael crushed it, and the community here is awesome. And Station F, there is no place, it started and was when I went at Station F, and it's the nicest shared workplace in the world. Oh my God, the community's awesome. But now, what happened was, right, when we started January 18, we got up to about 40 Crypto Mondays, and then Crypto Winter came, and then COVID came, and now there hasn't been Crypto Mondays. This is the first Crypto Monday since COVID. And now, Michael's awesome and he's great. And he's now moved on. So if there's anybody here who wants to run Crypto Mondays Paris, oh my God, what a great opportunity to give the community what we'll get back will be amazing. And, so, I have a word for the tendency of markets to go from bubble to crash and bubble again. I call that capitalism. And I got in, it was a bubble when I got started in January 2018. We lived through a crash, and now, we're here again, and we're seeing the fastest growth of Crypto Mondays in our history. The number of cities is like every week, 2 or 3 cities are joining. The last one was Crypto Mondays El Salvador. So I'm looking forward to going to that one. And we just signed our first global partner in the history of Crypto Mondays. And again, I turned it over to the DAO about 6 months ago. It's now being run by a DAO, Crypto Mondays DAO. If anybody wants to join the Discord, there are about 200 people in Discord now. But we just, a few weeks ago signed our first global partnership, and it was to be the official wallet of Crypto Mondays. And it turns out that the CEO of that company is here today. He's participating, and I'd love to turn it over to him for a few minutes. Awesome guy, awesome company, Oriol Ohanian. Oriol.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I stand here in French, but I don't live in France for a few years. So the reason we wanted to support Crypto Mondays is because this event has made possible for people to connect with each other. And the wallet that we're building is helping people connecting with crypto, right? This is really something that is really super important. We always forget that crypto is first about people. Not about software, not about protocols, not about bits, and not about pieces. It's really about the human people that are, for example, here today and will be here tomorrow. So we're very honored to be supporting you. I didn't know we were your first global partner, but so be it.
We got more to follow. It's going to be amazing.
Exactly. So if you have the time, I really invite you to try Zango. You're going to experiment the same thing that you felt.
How do they try it?
Well, you just download it on your phone. But what I wanted to say, it's ZENGO. What you're going to feel by trying it is exactly the same thing you felt when you sent an email after you sent a fax for years. I guarantee you. Oh, Sébastien, by the way, Sébastien is here. Here is the story of a people. Sébastien is producing the amazing podcast Epicenter. Many of you maybe know it. He also produces our podcast, crypto education podcast called the Zen Crypto Show, for people who know nothing about crypto. And in 10 minutes, you can learn very quickly the basics of crypto. So again, thank you for allowing us to be your first global partner. We didn't do that. And move away from fax, go to email, and enjoy Zango. Thank you very much.
All right, now that we got our sponsors out of the way, and Digital Village, I know that you're all excited about Perre's NFT Day, Perre's Blockchain Week, but nobody knew me. And when they came in, but I've been in crypto for quite a long time, working behind the scenes and NFTs since 2019. But they said, "Who's Josh Lane? Who's this guy, right?" And then the lady at Digital Village says, "Oh, he's the guy that looks like Superman. He looks like it's the guy that looks like Superman." But I can't be Superman. You know why? Because it's crypto night. Here, it's crypto night. All right. So crypto night. Crypto Mondays Global is awesome. It's the best in-person events, like Lou said. If you want to get involved, we got great sponsors. We got Zengo. We got people all around the world, 70 cities around the world. And tonight we got very special guests, the OG. If you know what that means, gangster original. We have the Lupin of crypto right here tonight in this room. Nobody knew who it was, right? Except the people in France. But we have the founder of the first ever Bitcoin and crypto exchange in Europe. And this was before some of you were born. In 2011, when some of you were in primary school, didn't even know what crypto was. This man created the first exchange, an innovator, a pioneer around the world, known worldwide. I'd like to introduce Pierre Noizat. everybody. All right, great. All right, since we've had quite a lot of introductions, we'll get right to the interview. And because there's still a lot of drinking to do, and then after the interview, we also will have time for a few pitches. So if you're a founder, if you have a startup, if you have something that's interesting, you can pitch right in front of our global audience, streamed around the world. If you have the confidence and you have the product, then you can get on Crypto Mondays, all right? So we're gonna have a little bit of time after that, but let me just remind everybody to tip the bartenders, okay? Make sure you buy drinks and tip the bartenders, okay? Because Digital Village is giving this place up for Crypto Mondays, and so we gotta make them happy, all right? You can buy Digital Village coin if you want to, but I might get one, but I don't know, Pierre, you gonna get a Digital Village coin?
I guess I can pay Bitcoin.
You guys accept Bitcoin? Oh, can you turn the mic on? Yeah, sorry. Okay, everybody can hear you? All right, so I'm sure everybody's excited about the first pioneer in Europe for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin exchange, but we don't know much about the man. He's like Satoshi Nakamoto. We don't know much about the individual. So why don't you start with telling us a little bit about the French gentleman who pioneered Bitcoin in Europe.
Okay. Well, my background is as an engineer. I was trained as an engineer.
A little bit closer to you now.
Okay. All right.
Just get it close to you now. Just imagine it was a Bitcoin.
So I started as an engineer working in the telecom industry and working on the projects that involved cryptography very early on in the 90s. So I got interested in cryptography very early on, and that's what led me to follow what was going on in that field. And there is in particular a book by a man by the name of Bruce Schneier. He wrote a book called Applied Cryptography that I recommend strongly to anyone interested. And so that led me to follow the developments and subscribe to mailing lists and that kind of stuff. So I got the news that this paper was out. Everybody was excited about Bitcoin, the Bitcoin paper. So I was very impressed with the paper. And then, so I let it go its own way. And then in 2011, I realized this thing is working. This thing works. The network is up. It's been up for 2 years. The price is going up. There was already a small bubble in 2011. So I decided to go full time. I said, this thing is going to be huge because it's internet money. It's the internet of money, actually. It's sound money. It checked all the boxes for me because I was interested in cryptography, but also in monetary issues because I had the privilege to also study at Columbia Business School. So as a side interest, I would say, apart from my engineering job, I took classes at Columbia, and I heard people from Wall Street talking about money, and then I understood there was some we could do better. We could do better with money, and so these two interests led me to Bitcoin.
Okay, so you just you saw the future and you said you predicted it and you said, okay, I'm all in.
Yeah, in 2011 it was relatively easy to, if you knew about Bitcoin in 2011, it was easy to see what was going to work and it was going to be huge because it's so difficult to put up a peer-to-peer network that's working with all the complexity of Bitcoin. So for me, it was not even visionary, it was just pragmatic.
Yeah, just pragmatic. Okay. So he's a pragmatist and he said it was easy. But as we know, founding a business is not easy, especially in a field where nobody knows about. I mean, 2011, nobody knew about it. Even today, not so many people know about it, right? What are some of the challenges that you face? And I know that you face a lot, so I asked you to be brief.
Yeah, I asked you to have 2 hours to
Yeah.
challenges.
What are some challenges you face? Yeah.
The main challenges, I think, there is an issue with, particularly in 2011, the times, because everybody was aware and fluent with the technology. Today, it's somewhat easier, but in the early days, it was very difficult to find the times and even convince people to work on that. It was a bit outlandish for many people to work on internet money. So that's what the HR is a challenge. Less so today. Today, I'd say there is more capital than talents. So talents are becoming very expensive, and there is competition for talents. But I think that's also the main motivation to build a business. It's the team. And I'd say after 10 years, we have a wonderful team at Perre. Some of them are in the room, by the way. And I think that's what really keeps me motivated, aside from the interest in tech. Okay. I'm here for the tech, as they say, but also the team. I'm here for the team.
All right. Well, who you got here on your team? All right. Let's see the team.
Guillaume in the back.
Okay, Guillaume.
Guillaume, Victor, and
Victor. There's Victor. All right. What's up?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. All right. All right. So that's great. So
That's
team.
the marketing team.
Okay, the marketing team is here. Okay. And oh, Victor, I think we had the phone conversation. As a matter of fact, yeah, great. All right. So building a team is a key aspect of building a good crypto company. Now, tell us about your company. Tell us about Payme. What is it? What do you do?
Payme is an exchange. There are about, as you know, hundreds of platforms around the world. So it's a highly competitive business. It was not the case 10 years ago. But some people got a lot of money, raised a lot of capital very quickly. CryptoMondays, for instance. And we had a more difficult path, I'd say, because of European regulations, the attitude of the banks. In fact, the prime in Europe is to connect to the banking system in a reliable and continuous way. You get account closure and all sorts of predicaments with the banking system. That's what Bitcoin was invented for, to resolve all this issue. But since we are a bridge between the legacy system, the euro and the other currencies, and the new currencies, an exchange is the bridge between the two worlds. So we have to deal with this difficult.
Okay, so you're still in the game against these major players, against Coinbase, against Binance, Bitpanda's another European one. Yet you're still going strong.
Oh yeah, we are doubling our sales from 2021 to this year.
Okay.
It's still a very fast-growing business. So even if there are people growing faster than we are, perhaps because of their size, because they are going global, we are still experiencing very healthy growth here in France.
Now you mentioned, So now you mentioned France and Europe. Let's talk about France and Europe for a few minutes. I know that there was an election here yesterday. Did anybody watch the election? Anybody vote? Yeah. And apparently it was not decisive. Is that a good thing for Bitcoin? Who's the best candidate for Bitcoin in France? I'm sorry, I didn't prepare you for that question.
I can answer it. I think the politicians typically make promises, and politicians make promises, and that goes with traditional money, which is pledge money, promises. Whereas Bitcoin is proof money, it's proof of work. So it's the opposite of what politicians are doing.
Let me just switch this because I think this I'm very loud down.
Okay, so you said proof money. Could you repeat that last bit, because I think it was very important for me.
Yeah, I was saying that essentially traditional money monetizes future energy, and politicians tend to make promises, capture the energy of the people for the next 5 or 10 years, and traditional money is designed for that job. And cryptocurrencies are not. They are sound, and they are not based on the promise. They are based on the proof. Bitcoin is proof money, proof of work.
Okay. So now that's a very interesting. I will step away. I mean, that was a very diplomatic answer. He didn't actually tell us if Macron or Le Pen was a better candidate for Bitcoin, but that's okay. I'll let you go on that one. But let's talk about Europe and proof of work, because I know that there was a big decision made at the European level about the environment and about ecological concerns with proof of work, that they are looking at proof of stake mechanisms as the only cryptocurrencies that people could use. Yet Europe, is it safe to call you a Bitcoin maxi?
I will accept. I will accept the term.
Well, he's definitely pro Bitcoin, and we can discuss that question as well. But where do you see this legislation going, and how are you going to adapt to these changes that are coming in the regulatory level in Europe?
I think the only answer to that is education. I think we need to get the word out about the technology, how it works. But the Bitcoin protocol is actually favoring investments in renewable energy because it incentivizes miners to use energy surpluses that exist only in renewable energy. So it's pretty it's sound money, but it's also sound from carbon emission, if you will, standpoint. Even though it's not miraculous, because there is no miraculous solution to the climate change problem, but it's certainly not making things worse. It's probably an asset rather than a liability in the fight for against the climate change. So that word needs to get across to the politicians in Brussels, because apparently they are influenced by lobbyists, I suppose. If they had the people actually telling them the facts, I think they would think differently.
Yeah, I think so. And if they had the intelligence level to understand how Bitcoin works, and they might.
They need to understand the basics of the Bitcoin protocol.
Yeah, exactly.
Difference between pledge money and proof money, and difference between proof of work and proof of stake.
I like that.
At least those basics need to be understood by politicians.
He's using all 4 P's there, pledge and proof. Okay. So what about France specifically? Why do you think France has a future as a key player in crypto?
Yeah, it does, because even though regulation is not particularly favorable, there are lots of talents. They are here in this incubator. They are in the schools. They are everywhere if you look for them. So I think that's a big asset. That's probably the main asset of France. We are fighting regulation that sometimes too, I would not say strict. It's just meticulous, and we have a big pool of talents that we can tap from. That's great.
Great, yeah, and it's a big pool of talent in this room. And actually, we're going to get to the pitches in just a few minutes. I have one more question for you, and then we will leave it, give it over to audience questions. Okay, so if you have a question, make sure to raise your hand, and I'll come around with the mic for you. But I have one more question, and I know everybody's dying to hear this. Are you Satoshi?
Well, I'm not Satoshi. I told you it's not. There are lots of OGs around the world, and you can ask them questions. I think none of them would tell it.
Okay, thank you very much for being on CryptoMondays. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Give it up for
Pleasure to see you here, like life history. Can you please tell us whether you have ever thought of quitting your business, and if so, why? And what stopped you from doing that, if you thought about it?
I'm sorry, there was some noise in the back.
Have you ever thought of quitting your business, like stopping doing what you did? If you have, then why? And what stopped you from quitting your business?
From what? From what? What do you mean from what?
Why did you? Yeah, when you quit, why did you never give up? Why did you never give up?
Okay, I see your point. Yeah, it's a long game. I think Bitcoin is a long game. We started early, but I knew it was going to be a long game because you're against institutions that are very powerful, and they will do everything to slow you down and will prevent you from doing things. So you have to be very patient. That's one of my personal qualities. That's not typical of CEOs of tech companies because investors look for impatient people so they can squeeze them. And I'm patient. So and we grow every year. So there is no, and plus we bought Bitcoin early on, so we don't need the money of the investors to grow.
Okay, one more question here.
I got a question for you. What book or books have you gifted the most?
Yeah, I cited Applied Cryptography by Bruce Schneier. That's a basic book about cryptography, and I liked a lot Mr. Antonopoulos. I'm sorry, Andreas Antonopoulos. Internet of Money is a great book because it's a digest of his talks, and it's just great. It's just a must read. Andreas Antonopoulos. Sure.
Oh, great, that's a great question about books. Who reads books on crypto? And I bet you probably are making the most money besides this guy. Okay.
So thanks a lot for this interview. So you have an engineering background. What do you think of this last year? This were in English, but recuperation of the finance institution all around the world about the cryptocurrency in general.
Récupération.
Voilà. Je vais la faire en français aussi. Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de la récupération par les institutions financières, donc tout ce qui est création d'ETF par les CMG, ce genre de choses, toute l'institutionnalisation de la finance décentralisée?
I think it's a good thing that lots of people in the traditional finance world, they understand the technology, they understand the benefits of the technology. It's open source, it's much cheaper than the software they use usually, and it's more. So it's great that they move towards open source software, for instance. Yet it's just making them more profits. It's not about changing the world for them. It's just making more money, which is okay. I don't have more judgment about that, but it's just different from what I'm trying to do is to bring some changes to a maximum number of people.
Okay, great. Any more questions? Okay, we got one more question. Great. And then we take two more questions, and then we'll have a very, very special event.
Thank you for everything. I would like to know, according to you, how crypto can change things, because you seem to say that. So
it can change things on so many levels. We talk a lot about financial inclusion, for instance. That is, like 2 billion people on us don't have a smartphone but no bank account. So this typically is a game changer. So that we go from having a no bank account to having a crypto account without going through the bank account square. Just like they did from having no phone directly to having a mobile phone. They never went through the fixed phone square, So I think that's what is going to happen in the next few 10 to 20 years. I think we are still 10 to 20 years to go before it goes mainstream. So be patient. But I think it's a game changer at so many levels. And we have 2 hours.
thank you.
Hi, Fidel. Quick question. Has being a mogul in the Bitcoin world, let's say, caused you to divert a little bit of your attention into other crypto, or more specifically mine and a lot of other people's kind of work in here, NFTs? Are you branching out, or are you?
No, we are branching out. We are adding Ethereum and tokens and NFTs on our roadmap, on our tech roadmap. We want to do it right, so it takes time, but it's going to happen in 2022. We're adding Ethereum and tokens. NFTs are probably done next year. But NFTs are a different animal because they are sold and bought through auctions, not through an order book. So we do order book today. So that's a different game, if you will. And plus, it's different regulations. So people that do it today are offshore. So, but yeah, there are so many things to do, and we are fascinated with Taproot, for instance, and Perre that just came out. There are so many cool things on the tech level that you know them, and yes, we are very interested. It's just that we are a relatively small team. It's a team of 20 today, so you have to be selective as to what you do and what you prioritize, and that's what we have to do.
Fantastic. Well, you know what? He's given some great founders advice. And obviously this is a person who's stuck in there, who didn't leave. And this is one of the things about a great founder, isn't it? It's somebody who has what we call in English grit. I don't know the French term. Agnac. Okay, and that's the people who stuck around now. So some people straggled up, but I have my company works in 24 countries. It's not in cryptocurrency, but I stuck around for a while until it was successful, and that's exactly what good founders do. Now, obviously, he's a great founder, and I want to invite everybody who's a founder or who has a project up to the front. If you have confidence and courage and the willingness to come up to the front, right here, come up to the front. Just come up to the front here. No, just come up around here. Please, you can stay here, please. S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît. And everybody who's a founder, you need grit, agnac, and you need confiance, confidence. And so these are the people who had confidence in this room to come up and actually talk about their projects and share their projects. I'm going to ask Monsieur Noizat to give you guys direct advice about how to be a successful founder, direct right here, right now in Paris, France.
So we are hearing pitches.
No, you just give them some advice, some good advice as a founder, and then we'll go to pitches. Then you can go.
I don't like giving unsolicited advice, because,
what's the single most important thing that
I think that the one thing you need to know is to know why you are doing what you are doing, the why. I think that's the most important. After that, everything is easy. If you know why you are doing what you're doing, you can be resilient and go after things and convince other people. Because if you don't know why you do what you're doing, then you're in trouble. You won't be convincing investors or staff. And to me, that's the most important thing. To know the why.
To know why you're doing what you're doing. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Noizat. Now we have a few minutes that we will invite people with different projects to come up and introduce their project to other people. Let me tell you, there are multi-millionaire investors in the room. Okay, there are people that are buying new projects, investing in new projects, and they're not only looking for some kind of idea, but they're also looking for a great leader and founder. And let me tell you something. I found one because I'm kind of moving around, checking stuff out, getting my alpha, what's the new thing. And I found a young leader yesterday when I was at the hackathon that I was very impressed with. And it's no surprise that he and his team won the hackathon at Paris Blockchain Week. And I met his father, and I want to invite him up first to talk about a social project in the Amazon that blew me away. And for a couple minutes, I want to invite Christian to come up here and talk about a social project that they're doing in Miami.
Hello guys, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm not used to talk to many people. So just so you know, me, I'm 17 years old. I was born in Brazil, but I live in Portugal. I was born in the Amazon, and I really know the reality there. So the people that struggle there, and the animals and the deforestation that happens there. And I mean, in the road, there is no any way you can help people and the Amazon. And even if you want, you can't because there is no project. So me with my father in 2020, we founded a non-profit organization, an institute to create a project to help people in the Amazon. But we didn't still had a how to do that because we didn't use the blockchain yet. So in 2021, in the middle, we created an NFT project. So the how can I explain? The institute have land, real land in the Amazon, real land that you can see in the Google Maps or something. It's real. And we created a game and also a map that is gridded, so you have little pieces of land. And each piece can be ABRC, or I mean, it's big, small, or medium, and you can buy them. And if you buy the NFT, you automatically own the rights of that land. So, and anywhere in the road to the blockchain, you can help people in the Amazon. And also, you can have passive income with that NFT. Why? Because we have a game where people can, like in Metaverse, and people can walk in the map. In the map, it's exactly like the Amazon. And when people walk inside your land, you get our token that we will create. So even if you don't play the game, you still earn. So I think it's basically it. But we have, I think, a very good idea, but we don't have how to show that to the world because we have a great idea, but we don't know how to share it. So I think it's basically it.
We started tonight. You can literally, through the project that this young man has created, who grew up in the Amazon, buy real land in the Amazon if you buy the NFT, certified on the NFT, and that land is preserved and protected. And then you can even sell that land, and they have a game in the metaverse. Yeah. So this is an amazing project where we're seeing social and environmental change happen through crypto and NFTs. And the younger generation is leading these types of projects. So I'm very excited about that. The father, would you like to say? Okay, if you'd like to talk more about this project, you can see Fleming or Christian and hang out with them. But we have only enough time for a couple more projects, but thank you, Christian. 17 years old. All right, we have time for 2 more pitches. And who here would like to talk about what they're doing? Here, he's up here at the front. Go ahead, man. 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you for organizing this. I don't have a product yet. The streaming, I guess. That's gonna be like a short quiz, and you can win the drink if you like answer to the most difficult questions. I'm Konstantin. I'm a founder of the Routum DAO, and we are trying to solve the problem of IP exhaustion. So the first easy question: who knows what IP address is? Just raise your hand. IP address. All right. I thought it would be more. All right. Who knows what the DAO is? All right. So the difficult questions, if you could answer, I will buy you a drink. How many theoretically accessible IP addresses there are, IPv4 addresses? Okay, 4.5 billion IP addresses. How many usable IP addresses there are? Because there are lots of them are like reserved for internal needs. All right, 3.7 usable IPv4 addresses. And we have like 5 billion devices in the internet already. So it's not enough. But you probably thought that you know probably about IPv6. Who know about the IPv6? Nice. You know the adoption of IPv6 as of today? Okay, nobody gets a drink. Well, it's 34%, and each year we gain like extra 4%, and it's been the same thing for the last like 10 years. That means like in 10 years it's gonna be like 75 and maximum 80% of IPv6 So we are we should use IPv6 for IPv4 for at least the next 10 years. And so the Rausum DAO is the main goal is to create a self-growing, decentralized, inclusive IPv4 pool, which would enable Web3 ecosystem to use these IP addresses, and we will bring the IP addresses back to the market. We will lend them to those who need it. This is it. 2 minutes. I'll leave the cards somewhere. Will you allow it somewhere here?
Absolutely. So if you'd like to talk about these addresses, please talk to this gentleman here, or you can grab one of his cards. It sounds like a very good one. Everybody's getting ready. Everybody's getting thirsty. I know Lou's getting thirsty. I know I'm getting thirsty. And so let's have one more pitch, but let's have a pitch with somebody that's doing something with Bitcoin. Because you know what? Tonight was about Bitcoin, and I love Ethereum myself. And other tokens, but if anybody has something that they're working with Bitcoin, are you guys the same or working together? All right, this will be the last pitch, but other than that, please network with people, get to know the people. There's some awesome people in this room. Stay around, have a drink, my friend.
Hi everyone. So let me start by a question. How many of you have friends and families that come to ask you, what's Bitcoin? What's crypto? How many of you? Friends and family asking. A lot, right? And how many of you, from all the hands here, they just drop out? They drop out because they don't understand. It's too complicated, right? What's a wallet, private key, blockchain, a yield, DeFi, what's that? Right? They don't get it. I think we get it here, right? So what do? Some people here have a podcast. I think you mentioned before. We try to create content. We try to educate them. We try to onboard them, right? This is what we're trying to do. But what they need is guidance. They need someone to trust in order to get there. It's really difficult. Why? There is a technical barrier, right? We know what's blockchain. We know what's Bitcoin, but they don't get it. There's a financial barrier as well, right? They need to understand how the volatility works, how the financial market works. So this is why we build Crypto Simple, a financial investment advisor, in order to onboard them into crypto, to give them the right advice where they can invest and start owning their own coin. How do we do that? Unfortunately, we're centralized. I know it's not popular, but we think it's a way to onboard this profile, right? Then after that, we can educate them to